So Giulio has a lot of experience working as a geoarchaeologist in Europe and Asia. He holds a degree in geology from the University of Milan and a diploma in soil micromorphology from Ghent in Belgium. And in Auroville, he's founded CSR Geomatics and is currently mapping the Auroville topography and has been taking part in development of a integral water management plan for Auroville with the water group in Auroville.
Before we go into the technical details, because I will be speaking about technical things, I want just to remind of a dimension of water which is usually forgotten. Water is what gives us life. We need to remember this. Without water, we cannot live. No organism on this planet can survive. So we need to be absolutely careful about it. A quick look at where we are. We are on a ridge. We need to remember the topography is absolutely crucial when we talk about water. We are on a ridge, and we are also on a coastal area. These two facts are absolutely important for anything related to water. When we look at an image from the air, like this one, Google Earth, we have to look at the things which are on the ground with a certain, let's say, depth. You recognize any geometric pattern in this picture, which is other than the road and the buildings. What are these lines? These lines are lines of usually palmyra trees. Now, palmyra trees have been here planted for a very specific reason. They are planted on the plot boundaries. Now, the plot boundaries, they are marked by palmyra trees and by a bund. A bund which is made of earth, which has a very specific function to retain water when it rains from the sky, to have that water in that particular plot, to have that water, what is not used of that water, directly for agriculture purpose or whatever other purpose, to go in the underground, under our feet. And the legislation here, it says that whatever is in your plot is yours, even including the groundwater. Okay? We have to remember these things. These are facts I'm talking about. So, we have a heritage here. These lines of trees are not always recent. They follow a certain subdivision of the ground, of the land, which goes along with natural flows of water, with topography, and so on. Even this line is not a random line. We call it road, whatever, but it's actually always used by nature in a different way. So now, let's follow that drop of rain which falls from the sky. It comes on that plot of land. We are talking about a very natural phenomenon. Luckily, in 2021, we had an exceptional year. Where is that going? What is under our feet? I'm a geologist, so I have done a bit of studies about this area. Now, it's very interesting to see the map, which is never coming other than small bits and tips in presentation. This is where we are on. This is the nature we are on. We cannot do without it. Sorry, we cannot replace this. No, at all. Srivatsa was saying, oh, the farms, the village in this area. Why? There is a specific reason. Because clay is on this area. Clay is needed for agriculture. Clay is needed because it retains water. Here is sandstone, Cadelo sandstone, this red soil, what's called sandstone, that absorbs water. It's not suitable for agriculture unless you have solutions. Now, you have Cadelo sandstone, the yellow part, which is an aquifer. Aquifer means a geologic body which holds water and from which you can extract water. Okay. Now look at this. Cadelo sandstone is here, but it's also here. And then we have some white things, which is the alluvium, what's called the alluvium. Well, when you see a map like this is the outcropping areas of each geological formation. When you go from one side to the other, you're actually walking on different geological formation. Now this one is the alluvium, it's the last one, the most recent one, which has covered other formations. So you have to imagine that this body, this geological body, extends. Actually, this Cadro sandstone is born in Maracanã, let's say outcrops from Maracanã to Kanyakumari. So this gives you an idea how extent is this body. It will come into the perspective in a few minutes. And then we have the other bodies. Now, this is how it is when we walk on the surface. But when we go down, if we imagine to cut the planet in this area, and what do we see? This is what we see. We see a layered cake. We are lucky that our geology here is very, very simple, not as in the Himalaya region. It's just layers. Okay, now out of these layers, we have one, which is the Cadro sandstone aquifer, the first aquifer, what we call. Why is the first aquifer? Because Auroville is here in this region. So for Auroville, this is the first aquifer. Then there is the second aquifer. For Auroville, the second, but for people living here, they're first. And then there is the third aquifer. For us, it's the third. For them, it's the first. This is nature, okay? The setup of these things is very important because being an aquifer, it's basically a tank. Now, when we have to get a shower at home, we need to have water in the tank. If we don't have water in the tank, we cannot get a shower. So how do we fill the water? We pump the water. Nature doesn't pump the water. Nature rains the water, okay? So if you have an impervious surface like this one, Otay clay, which covers extensively, we are talking about more than 200 meters thickness, an aquifer like this, then the only recharge possibility for this one is very limited area. And this aquifer is actually the most exploited in the whole region. This aquifer went down 54 meters in 30 years. 54 meters, the level has gone down. Where is the water which is in the aquifer coming from? Many people think, oh, yeah, we have groundwater. That's not the source. The source is the sky. The source is the rain, not the ground. The ground is just a temporary storage. We need to understand this. My job is to collect data. Let's look at this data. This is from Charlie Orogreen. He has collected rainfall data quite rigorously for the last 30 years and more. The numbers are not correct. From 1990 to 2021. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a regular pattern in this graph? No, there is no regular pattern. A regular pattern means that if there is a high, immediately after there is a low, and that pattern will repeat. Well, no. Rain is absolutely erratic, period. You plan for anything, you are expecting this to happen next year, what we got last year, forget about it. It's not going to happen. How do I know? Let's take this example before 2021, where we got the record. The highest record was in 2015, and the next year was the lowest rainfall in the last 30 years. And if you take this to the next one, you see that there is not the same pattern happening. So we cannot absolutely predict rain. Fact, period. Okay? Now, let's look at what is happening. We monitor wells. Now I give you just few data. I explained this center field Michael Tate. This well is a deep well. The color, the yellow is the Cadro sandstone, and this is the Manaveli clay. The red line is the water level of the well. The blue lines are the weekly rainfalls. This is data we have put together. So you see there is a kind of a rhythm, okay, which somehow follows the precipitation, and then you see the peak, which is the recent one. But there's something. We have to look at this graph in particular and in the following. Here is also raining, no? But there is not so much of increase in the level. Here also is raining, but there is no increase. So what is happening? The capacity of the Cadro sandstone to receive water, to increase the water table, is limited to less than 20% of the rainfall. So less than 20% of the rainfall is actually reaching the water table. And where is the rest going? We'll come to that. Then I want to put your attention to a couple of more things. There is a trend here. Don't look at this. This is the last year. This is exceptional. This is not, but look at this. There's a trend. This is going down. And unfortunately, this is what we have seen in the whole region for years, going down. Fact. It's again a fact. Okay? Let's see another one. Revelation Farm. This is a shallow well. Two different geological bodies. Again, the rain doesn't impact directly on it unless it's a very strong and abundant rain. The normal, enjoyable rain does not impact much. But you see the trend? Okay? You have just a spike here. But this trend is alarming because that tells us that the recharge in normal scenario is not happening. It's not compensating for what we are extracting. Who is we? We'll come to that. Jaima, this is more on the eastern part. Again, it's a shallow well. This is only Cadro sandstone, first aquifer, this one. Okay? Look, again, it's going down. But they also get the rain still going down. Then, fertile. This is the well which has gone most dramatically down. This went from this to this level in 3 years. Okay, dramatic. We are talking, and you barely see any recharge. This is ore mode, deep well. Here, different aquifers. Here we are deep. This is the second aquifer. Where's the first? The first. There's no water in the first. It's zero. The water is only in the second and lower. So water is deep. Yeah, but it's a deep well, so from up the water falls down. True. Okay, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about something else. See this huge variation which we didn't see before in the other graphs, right? Rhythm, this is even more dramatic. Look at the variation. It's amazing. Wow, what is this? What I'm talking about? This is the wells which we are monitoring. Something is happening. And what is happening? Somebody is pumping out water dramatically, massively, in a way, at a rhythm, at a pace which it cannot even be compensated by nature. This is called, a simple word, over-exploitation. Even the Tamil Nadu government published the status of the things here, and more than 95% of the wells are overexploited. So, this is what we are in. This picture comes from Gilles Bourriquot, but it summarizes very well the status of the affair here. This is the source, rain, okay? This is where we are. This is where Auroville is. Auroville in its history has done something which was not parallelly done in the region. Auroville has increased the percolation into the ground to recharge the groundwater, and that has been done through afforestation and bunding, while in the surrounding region that parallelly did not happen. Actually, the bunding, not to mention the forest, the bunding has been disrupted. So we have in Auroville an attempt of recharge with a limited extraction. And still, we don't know how much we extract because we Aurovillians are not in agreement of having meters installed for our places, which is a problem. But outside, the extraction is so massive, which absolutely cannot be compensated by the recharge. And on top of this, we have also, we are in a coastal area, so we have an ocean just nearby, and that ocean is pushing. Why is pushing? Because we are taking out from the ground the water, so it has a better way to come in. Question is, can we go on like this? No. What is this? This is that tank I was mentioning about. This is the tank where the water is stored. Now imagine you have your tank of water, which you fill up. And then you have your tap for your shower. But to the same tank, you have 10,000 more taps on which you have no control. How do I come with this number? In 2006, there was a survey done by Harvest just around Auroville. There were 5,900 and more wells just around Auroville in 2006, 15 years ago. So we are sharing an aquifer, or more than one. And I showed it to you that the aquifers are quite extended. They are in big regions, so there are a lot of people depending on it. Can we control this? Forget about it. No. Can we go on like this? You give me the answer. I say no. So is there anything we have to change? Yes. We need to, again, follow that drop of water which falls from the sky. We have to do that. We like it or not, that's what we have to do, because without water we cannot live. What does it mean, over-extraction? They're pumping more, but I have my quota, I have my water, I have my well. Yes, true. But where is water underground? Where is it stored? This is sandstone. It's made of sands or grains of sand. You cannot put water inside a grain of sand. You cannot, sorry. So where is water stored? Water is stored in the voids between the grains. Now water, we come from different school, but I think anywhere is thought that water is incompressible. Isn't it? You cannot compress water. Sorry, you cannot do it. Well, when you have a body, a geological body, let's take this Cadelo sandstone for 30 meters like we have in Matrimandir, 30 meters of sandstone. Each cubic meter is about 3.5 tons. You put it on a line, on a column, large 1 meter, for 30 meters, and then you do a rough calculation. What is the pressure exerted on the bottom at 30 meters, okay? How is it that the Cadelo sandstone is not collapsing under this enormous pressure? Because there is water. Water will hold the ground. Simple as that. Now take it out. Take it out. What will happen? There's no water anymore in the pores. Air will go. Air is compressible. We use compressors to compress air to fill up our tires. That is what happens. We go from a situation where there is space to host and lodge water to a situation where there is no more space anymore. So this is called a phenomenon called subsidence or subsidence, depending how you want to pronounce. This is what happens, example, in South America. Is this happening in Auroville? Yes, my house is under subsidence. It's just moving like this, okay? Is this happening somewhere else in the world? Please have a look at the numbers. California, 60 centimeter per annum. 10 years means 6 meters of subsidence. Can you imagine? Now, Tokyo realized in 1968 that it was going down, it was drowning. So Tokyo said, wait a second, guys, Not possible. Close water, reduce consumption. What happened? After 2000, the subsidence went down to 1 centimeter. It's still happening, but massive improvement. What will happen if we don't think about this? Oh, very simple. You build a road, you build infrastructure, you build building, you build whatever you want, you build water channels, whatever you want. It will go down because water is not there anymore. You build pipelines, you build water channel to bring water from here to there by gravity. Yeah, but now the channel is becoming like this, sorry. It's becoming like this. It doesn't go from here to there anymore, it comes here. Is this what we want? I don't think so. So I think it's time we wake up and we start thinking of this phenomenon. And it's not only permanent. Subsidence cannot be reversed. Forget about it. It's not happening. But the capacity of the aquifer to hold water will be reduced forever. So today you have beautiful, yeah, your neighbor is pumping whatever. I don't care, have my well. Better you care, because soon you will not have anything at all. That is where we are. We like it? No. And then, of course, the problem of the saltwater intrusion. Coastal area, very common problem all around the world, along all the coastal areas. South of Pondicherry, the ocean is already 15 kilometers in. Here we have the ocean in Repo. Luckily, we didn't get the ocean under Auroville yet. Van Oor sandstone, what I showed you earlier, is a very big candidate for the ocean to come in. If that comes in, then we will have serious problems. There is a very interesting article I read just a few days ago. Everybody thinks about climate change and the rise of the sea level. Oh, communities are getting flooded by the sea and so on. Nobody is actually speaking of what is already happening in California and Florida. They are already flooded by the ocean from the ground. When the ocean comes, pushes up the groundwater level is increasing, and no infrastructure, no sewage line, no pipeline, nothing is working because everything is flooded underground. They are drowning in their own waste. And they have put together the data of the variation of the groundwater levels with the tide levels, and it matches. Okay? It's something I want to do for Auroville zone to see if we have this problem started already. You know the petals are flooded, right? You know that the petals in Matrimandil have been flooded this year. They have been flooded because the groundwater came up. Not thinking about this scenario. Sorry, we are in this scenario. The petals have been flooded. Let's go back to this. This is where we start. And this is where we have to go back, sorry. This is where we are. Look at this map. We have on this map something absolutely amazing. It's in blue color. In Tamil, it's called Yeris system. Yeris are what the local culture built together with the push from the kings to have a possibility of agriculture, survival, in a very harsh climate, in very difficult conditions, in a way that is a marvel of engineering. All these water bodies are interconnected, and you can see the streams and canals and they are different levels. They don't need pumps. At that time, they didn't have pumps. They just were using the gravity. And then they all end up here in Kali Valley. Today, Kali Valley is also gone, unfortunately. It was a brackish water body, and today is almost entirely saline. Let's have a better look at this situation. How many water bodies, how many, all interconnected, how rich is this land? How beautiful is it to have a possibility to integrate water, which is a life-giving gift, into our activities, into our human activities. 1,200 years ago. In Tamil Nadu, there are more than 45,000. In Chennai, there were 186. Today, there are only 26. Can we just learn from the local culture? Can we learn from the expertise? Can we learn from those who have lived and survived and prospered in this area? Can we? Can we switch from that idea of the ground and the underground to something else, to something visible, to something we can play with? Can we start thinking like that? That is what we engaged with. When I say we started with CSR and Water Group. We said, let's dream. How do you start going into that direction? I said at the beginning, you need topography. You need topography, you need topographic data. Do we have? No. They are there, but they are not accurate, sorry. So we have to build it. We are building it. Okay? Where are we today? Takes long, takes very long. We did the yellow area is what we have already surveyed. And it takes long. And surveying is a long procedure. So why are we doing? Because if we don't know by gravity where the water will go, how can we even think about it? And then we collect the data about the information, the rain, the rainfall, the weather parameters, and so on. And where are the Auroville rain gauges? And then you observe, this was October 2019. It was pouring. I went out. I took these photos. And then you see rain falls everywhere. Okay, it falls also on the unpaved surface. Does it make sense to think at collecting the water from unpaved? I don't know. We have to check, we have to measure, we have to test. So we did that. Why? Because unpaved is large areas, right? And we have also data about infiltration. And then we build a model, and when we calculated, and then we have the numbers, how much rain we can collect. And this was 20th November, in 1 hour, 107.7 millimeter. This is the data collected. In 1 hour, this is insane. This is not normal. This is one of the effects of the climate change. Climate change doesn't change the pattern of rains that I told you, but what is actually changing is this, is the intensity. Intensity is the quantity of rain falling in the unit of time. This is increasing. Increasing intensity means there is more volume of water falling in the same amount of time on the same area, and that area is not able to absorb it anymore. So then what is the consequence of that? You have something which in Auroville was put as a policy, zero runoff. Yes, it's runoff what we are generating. And that runoff today, where is it going? It's going to the sea. Can't we do something? This is water. This is what we need. Can't we do this? Can't we just take this as the ancestors did? And then, of course, there are technological devices like recycling of water and so on, but that's also another source of water which we have today. So we're washing our hands, that water is still water, dirty, it stinks, still water. You can use, not for drinking, for other things. So this is RZ STP, and this is the storage place in the Mahalakshmi Park. If you want, there is a video to explain how it's built and blah, blah, blah. Now, this is what we are coming to. The zero runoff policy is still valid, but we add to the ocean. The runoff is today what is important. because the runoff will allow the rainwater, the stormwater, to go where we decide to go. We can decide where it goes if we plan for it. Otherwise, it will go to the ocean. And then, of course, treated wastewater and groundwater. This is the integration of sources. Are we ready for this challenge? Are we ready? No, then it's only a matter of time, and then we have to pack and go. Matter over. So, my suggestions. Intensity is growing. More rain is falling in the same interval of time. Higher intensity, of course, will lead to a lower capacity of the soil to absorb rainfall. Larger volumes of runoff tends to get generated. The combination of larger intensity with larger portions of land covered with impervious surfaces, because we are building a city. So these two things have to be put into account. So this will create large volumes of runoff. Can we finally put together a rainwater harvesting system which is mandatory in Tamil Nadu since 2006? Can we? Gutters, all means to drive the harvested water into reservoirs or water bodies, whatever you want to call, to be used for not for drinking, but for other non-domestic purpose. We all have beautiful gardens. Why do we have to give the best water we have to gardens? Gardens will be happy to use this water or treated wastewater. But we have to plan for it. If that is not planned, that will not happen. And this is exactly what we are in. So it has to be in the building design. You are architects. I'm talking to you guys. Huh? I'm not an architect. I'm not doing the drawing, the design. Sorry, I'm telling you what you should do. Double pipeline. I'm sorry, this is emergency. There's no time to wait anymore. Huh? Take it or leave it. Leave it in the sense you have to go. Double pipeline for harvested rainwater for some domestic usage. Toilet flushing. This is not theory anymore. We have to do it. Period. Matter over. Oh, it's more expensive. Water will cost more than diamonds. And we will still buy it because we need it. So let's think about it. Okay, we will have public toilets, yeah, because there will be visitors, this and that. We can use that water for there, no? But we need drains. Where are the drains in Auroville? And the drains should go where? Where it makes sense, where the nature is bringing it. Not, oh, pumps this, that. Wait a second, it's much more easy. They did 1,200 years ago. Why can't we do it? Irrigation, whatever. But then, we all come from schools and this and that. We all experts. We all do, yeah. Can't we just do it intelligently? Why do we have to have a drain which is... Can't we have play? Can't we have a waterfall that will act as a check dam which lowers the speed of water, facilitate infiltration of the excess of water, because my aim is not the percolation, my aim is to collect the runoff. And then maybe the excess runoff to be given downstream to our neighbors. We don't want to capture everything. Our neighbors will say, hey guys, we need water here. Fair enough. Why can't we think like that? So, beauty, life, Crownway, all your functionality. I heard about all these things. Are we ready to do it? It's your time now. Huh? There's no time to delay any further. Then, whatever. Yeah, we also need to remember that there will be wastewater somehow, because we go to toilets, we wash our hands, and blah, blah, blah. That is still water. We need to do it. We need to do it. We cannot postpone it, period. This is where you can download all the data we are collecting. There is only one data you cannot download, and that is the land records, because the foundation asked us not to share. There was a request from Dorle earlier. If you ask me, I'm sorry. There is a committee who will evaluate your request, and then if the committee approves it. Why is that? Because there have been leakage of information from anywhere in the town hall, and not only in the town hall. So the foundation was very clear: we are storing this information and we are not disclosing this information, period, despite what people say, period. Thank you.
I have just an observation from the experience at Sacred Groves. We completed 460,000 liters of rainwater storage with the first houses. But with the rains, I notice an interesting fact that there's more storage in an accidental storage on the site, where we dug out the earth for the construction for the houses. There's more than 600,000 liters, I think, is a guess. But out there, so question to you is, can we have a soil harvesting strategy for Auroville? Because a lot of us rely on earth for construction. And which areas of Auroville can we dig? Because our ancestors had a system of always digging in the right space to make the areas, and from there you use the earth for construction of various kinds. So can we have a strategy for harvesting soil which relates to water? The second aspect of that question is, with the design of the crown, how can we integrate soil restructuring and harvesting? And can there be a strategy that you can help with for us?
Strategy.
Where to dig,
Where to dig will come out of the analysis of topography. Because if we plan to start pumping for water to let water go where we want, forget, that's not possible. It doesn't make any sense on the economic point of view, maintenance point of view, blah, blah, blah. And can we be a beacon for others like that? No, that's not what we want. We would like to have a system which can be easily replicated if people want somewhere else. And that is with the local condition here. Pumping, it should be restricted to when you really need to go against gravity. So, analysis of the terrain, topography, that would give you the idea where to identify a plot of land which might receive runoff from several places. And in that situation, if you start thinking like that, you bless the runoff, right? Reusing the soil. I would say that goes together with the plan, the development plan, according to what is thought, what is planned, because you might need to raise certain things for whatever purpose, I don't know. Water, I would limit the impact to the minimum possible, because water naturally goes from here to here. Just you need to follow that simple rule. Then there are regulations about transporting the soil and blah, blah, blah. Those have to be followed. But you guys, you are going to do the DDP, so you have to think about this strategy. I'm sorry, I will keep telling you, please consider the rain to go from here to there, period. The rest is up to you. I'm not going into that, sorry.
You're the geologist.
That's a different story. The geology, you see, is very marginal. It's very marginal. This is surface water management, or better to say, complete water management. Because yes, you have to take into account what is under your feet, correct? But as our backup, as our drinking possibility, not for our gardens, not for constructions, not for other non-domestic purpose. Sorry, it's a waste, and we should not throw our resources like that. Next.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you, Giulio, for making it so clear to us how important it is to look at the larger picture. Water cannot be regenerated by looking at a micro area. And for this reason, we need to have an environmental concept first before we start building the roads and the urban structure, infrastructure. So thank you very much for making that so clear. And my dream would be that we as a model city or a city utopia even would take the trouble of making a model water regeneration concept for the bioregion, because so much work has already been done through the Water for All project, through so many researchers which came from Auroville. And do you see a chance that we really start working with our neighbors with a larger bioregion to implement this?
I love this question, because we are talking about, again, I go back to the beginning. What is water? Water is a life-giving gift. That is how I define water. Okay. So, if it is just merely a technical thing, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. It's a commodity. No, it's not a commodity. Oh, our problem is to distribute water. No, that is not our problem. That is the beauty of working with water, because you have abundance. You have not scarcity, right? Like we have right now. And we are not an island. We live together with our neighbors. They are wasting water. How can you think that? Still, I'm in Auroville. These are human beings like me. Let's work together. But we don't have any authority to go there and tell them, you do this. If I were living in this village and somebody comes to me, oh, you should do this, I say, who are you? What do you want? Bella Cara, you come from you don't know anything about us. They are right. How to do that? Challenge. How can we go to them if we are not good ourselves? First you clean your house. First you do that. And then you invite them. You have something which is working. You invite them. Let them come. And then you say, it's working. Are you interested? Yes. You want me to help? Yes. Then let's do it together. There is no other way, sorry. No other way. It doesn't work. Other way. I have gone around some years speaking to farmers and villagers and so on. They have this experience of the government will do it, so they back. Or NGO, wow, no, NGO, no. Why? Because NGO pass and go. This is active participation. But how can we go to them if we are not good ourselves? If we are not, hey, I spoke about something, we have nothing in place like that. Yeah, a few examples of rainwater harvesting, but they are not even connected or interconnected. We have luminosity, we have a town hall, we have so many systems. Wastewater treatment system, only in the city we have 69. Are we reusing that water? Are we connecting one to the other? Are we using? Is the possibility there to do it? Yes. The recent development of the residential zone. Wastewater going one side, one way, treated wastewater coming back, given back to the communities. They are using, go and visit Kalpana. It's not a garden anymore, it's a jungle. Why? Because there are trees and plants, they adore this water. They just like it. Am I saying we need to drink it? No. Can't we plan for it? To plan for it, we need to know how much water we need. Meters, we need to measure what we need, what we are using. We need to do that, will increase our awareness. We need to know how much water is used for gardens. And then if my garden uses 3 cubic meters per day, I have to find those 3 cubic meters of water per day somewhere, which is not from a well. Sorry, no. That's the common pot. No. Are we ready for it? I think we are ready. We're just lazy. So if we are an example, we can go and invite them and help and support them in doing it, if we are good in doing it. Otherwise, better not.
Okay, we have about 10 minutes left.
I have just the idea that our neighbors are much more future-oriented than we are in Auroville. That's my impression right now. And please go on to make it clear to us how important it is to change.
So just my question mainly for the Dreamweaving team.
Please.
Because the Crown, as I have seen, passed through few canyons. So the question is, how do you think they should deal with these natural systems? Some of them even, I think, fall in the industrial zone, even intersecting with lines of forces. And then what are the ramifications, if we just block them? What would be the
Don't
ramifications?
even think about that.
Yeah.
Don't even think about blocking canyons.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to make you help them. Yeah.
No, I understand the thing. No, but that's the very easy solution. And then what? You can see, I live in Ami, the private development, when you turn the tar road from Certitude and then you go to Kulapalam, there's this 90 degrees bend, left-hand side, private development, the canyon starts there. You go there, they close the canyon. So they would be flooded. Don't do that. But think, very good question. What is a canyon? A canyon is nothing else than an area where water accumulates and erodes. The canyon is just a deep thing, an incision where erosion is happening. Erosion is never good, never. The more the erosion, the more the damage. The first slide, we are on a ridge. From this ridge, there are 3 major watersheds generated on this ridge, here. Whatever we do here, it will reflect 2 tens of kilometers around. We like it or not, that's the fact, period. Do we want to do something? Yes, we want to do something. Canyons, they are nothing else than things where water runoff comes due to gravity, topography, blah, 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 and acquires speed. Because of speed, its capacity of eroding is augmented, and it goes on because the canyon aim, the water aim, to reach the ocean level. That is the aim. So it will go on digging till it reaches the ocean level. That's the nature. So how to deal with that? They had this problem also 100 years ago. No? So they broke that flow. How? They convinced the water to remain in a certain place, inviting water to stay in that place and say, my dear water, I made a place for you. If you have friends with you, you can accommodate in the next one. Okay. What is the beauty of it? Not only the rainwater harvesting thing, which gives water for all the purposes, but there is a flood prevention operation there. Because you are storing water and then you are taking out of that possible flow, which comes at high speed, with the only intention of eroding. So you are storing it. You are telling the water, this is nice, stay here. And water will stay here. But you have to design it properly. You have to design it simply, as simple as possible. How to incorporate the design? And guys, you are architects. This is your challenge. You want to make a building on top of a canyon? Do it. Do it. But don't block the canyon. Is that beautiful and so on? It's not up to me. That's not my thing. I'm just saying, don't touch the natural flow of water. If you touch it, make it so in such a way that water will go there naturally, will not break somewhere else. Because that is what water does. And it's always done. I always say, in floodplains, river likes to dance. They move from one place to the other. And you can see, just go Google Earth, see, go along the Ugly River, you will see all the abandoned meanders and so on. Why? Because water you cannot stop. It jumps from here to there according to the conditions which are created for it. Chennai 2015, the airport flooded. Why? Because somebody did not think about it. Do we want to do that? No. How to do that? Guys, let's sit together and talk. Let's see. But I'm not the designer. You tell me, this is the strategy. I tell you, this is the strategy. I can tell you, oh, if you do this, this might happen. But the rest, sorry, I'm not a designer, I'm not an architect. That's your job. Hope this helps.
Okay, we have 5 minutes, so maybe one more question.
May I know your name, please?
Hi, it's Raj here. Probably a dumb question. We know that tree plays a major role in sending the rainwater downstream. Does it feed
Not
the
downstream, sorry.
sorry, beneath our feet?
Yes.
Does it feed the aquifer? And if it does, and how do they do that? You know, just yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Imagine this soil, okay? This one is made exactly like in that picture, with voids. Voids is what accommodates water, nothing else. What happens with a tree? Tree has roots. Those roots, depending on the tree species, goes laterally or down or mix, and they create galleries. The galleries are the empty areas which are created by the roots of trees, and along which there is microfauna and micro organisms living, which enhance the area and the volume of the gallery. Okay? If you don't have that, you will have the natural porosity of the sediment. Let's take a granite. What is the natural porosity of granite? 0. Okay? But granite here, for instance, in this region, is considered an aquifer. How can it be? Because the first 100 meters is weathered. What does it mean, weathered? It has been altered and modified by the trees and organisms and blah, 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 which have gone through millions and billions of years through it, because this is not a seismic area. So it didn't break because of earthquakes. It broke just because of nature. But nature and roots and so on, they reach up to a certain level. They don't go down 30, 40 meters unless we talk about very particular species and so on. There are other mechanisms which are in place. One of these mechanisms is called paleo-genesis. The paleo-genesis is the soil formation. The soil formation is happening always from top down because it goes with gravity and it goes with water. So water moves. And then you have leaching of elements. In certain cases, those elements accumulate and forms crust and layers hard like laterite, like nodules, like calcium carbonate crusts and so on. In other cases, go on along the voids and make those voids covered with very thin layers of clay, which make those voids impervious, so water will move even better. That's the, Then there are other movements which are capillarity and so on. This is always in dynamic form. Trees help that, definitely yes, as all living organisms do, because they dig. That's the mechanism, basically. I hope this answers the question.
I just have a comment.
2 minutes.
I think we have to We have a very short lunch break today, just over an hour.
Okay, so what Ellen is saying is that basically we have a very short lunch break, less than like.
She has a short question.
I'm not sure I can believe short questions anymore. Okay.
It's in relation to the difficult word of the ground sinking. So, in relation to that, what is...
Sorry, I missed it.
Sorry.
What? In relation to?
Subsidence.
Subsidence, okay.
In relation to that, what would be in sort of a timeline which you would think it might impact Auroville? And that in relation to laying of infrastructure, does it make sense to wait until you actually need the infrastructure to lay it? Or that's kind of the thing, because if we plan it all now, we lay it all now, and it all breaks, then it's a waste of money.
No, the infrastructure in this sense, in this case, doesn't really matter much. What is the problem? Subsidence is already happening. It's already there. We don't know what is the rate, because there is no monitoring. Nobody's monitoring, so we don't know. So I know my house, that I know. I had to redo the roof last year, because it all went like that. It can be very fast. You have seen the numbers. Or it can be slower, I don't know. And it can be different in different parts of the world, because the underground is different. Infrastructure laying, no, I had a very big concern, not about infrastructure, but the lake proposed to be done in Matmandir. That amount of water in one place is dangerous. Yes, because given the scenario, adding a load on an aquifer, which is already, you have seen, it's already fragile. In many wells, the first aquifer is empty. Well, it's not the wise thing to do, because it will go down. And if a lake goes down, no. So let's use this again, and let's just go with the water nicely.